Trump created a $23 billion hemp industry in the United States when he signed our Farm Bill into act.
That's right.
So he's no stranger to business around cannabis. But to your point, Rob, are the Republicans, the more conservative party, the more right-leaning party, are they the ones that are willing to sort of take the leap and say, you know what, we know what we've been saying about cannabis all these years, but it's okay if we go out and create a framework for it to make some money, draw some tax revenue, et cetera. So that'll be the interesting thing to watch. But the last note I'll say on the R's versus the D's, to your point, you detailed Harris's history and Biden. Biden is probably the worst offender. I mean, Biden created the 3 strikes rule, which incarcerated, literally, the 3 strikes rule, which was promulgated by Biden when he was a senator, sent more brown and black people, people of color, to jail. It completely shifted our federal prisons landscape from the majority being Caucasian to people being from minority communities. That was Joe Biden. He led that effort. Harris, prosecutor, attorney general. So the Democrats are no friends of cannabis. Don't make any mistake here. However, they have a social justice approach to it largely, whereas the Republicans that have spoken in favor of it have spoken about it more in favor of a business approach. So anybody's guess what's going to happen next is going to happen next. But election day will be telling, and there's a lot of work to be done because I don't think that you're going to see federal legality. I think that you're going to see this continued patchwork with federal policy that says Schedule 3. We can talk about what that means, but it doesn't create compliant cannabis businesses. It doesn't do that. It's not like Canada, where these are going to be nationally registered businesses. There's a possibility there, but it's wonky. But also, this is in line with the United Nations changes. In November of 2020, the UN convention changed. It changed to recognize medicinal cannabis for the first time. And why did it move forward on that? Not to exaggerate the U.S.'s importance here, but the U.S. government came in and said, yes, we support this change.
We support it.
So the other nations that maybe had an opinion one way or the other, they typically abstain from a vote when the U.S. doesn't take a vote. Not because they want to stay in the U.S.'s good graces for reasons that you and I don't fully understand, but it's the truth, right? So they said, the U.S. comes in and says, yes, we favor the recognition under the UN Convention of Medicinal Cannabis somehow, some way. And that moved forward. So all of this stuff is working together, but does it create an over-the-counter marketplace that's federally legal in the U.S.? Not so much, not so fast.
So Trump was the one who created the hemp, and so the over-the-counter market is the hemp beverages and the edibles and that kind of thing below 5 milligrams THC, correct? Like of hemp products.
Yeah, beverages, gummies, vapes, you name it. Every
I want to talk about
intoxicating
that.
compound, yeah.
And it's interesting because there's 2 questions of who's going to get in, and then what will their stance be for or against cannabis, and we're not going to know because it's the Dems don't want to push away the Republicans and vice versa, so no one's really taking a stance as far as I can tell. And so like we were saying, like it's 2 sides of the same coin, hemp and cannabis. Hemp is legal, and then 2 sides of the same coin, Dems and Republicans. It's very complex, but I want to talk a little bit about the hemp market and what's happening over the counter. And if the Republicans are no stranger to this already, then how will that, maybe move the needle towards introducing marijuana as a business for them?
The hemp industry, I've written a lot about this. I call it red state weed when you're talking about intoxicating compounds from the hemp plant, because it has taken hold in more of these conservative, red-focused political states. There's not stigma attached to hemp. There's stigma attached to marijuana. Same exact compounds, same exact plant, in different ratios of cannabinoids. But of course, if you concentrate those cannabinoids in a beverage, as you point out from hemp, it produces an intoxicating effect or a high. It does. 5 milligrams is going to do that all day long and twice on Sundays. So the red states have seemed to embrace this. They're much more free in terms of business-friendly marketplaces. They're much more friendly in terms of taxation than these dispensary systems, but they're low-dose products. They're not high-dose products like you would get if you walk into a dispensary. And I would, be interested to see how Schedule 3 effectively eliminates the notion of adult use cannabis or recreational cannabis. If I go to Schedule 3, that flower that whether I use the flower in its natural state or I produce something from it, the flower needs to be for a medicinal purpose and a medicinal supply chain. Well, how do I do adult use then? How do I say I'll sell this flower to you or its oil if you're 21 or older? That doesn't fit with any rendition of a Schedule III medicinal compound.
Medicinal
So
use.
you need an over-the-counter product that's descheduled to fill the void of adult use. So what's descheduled? What produces a high? What's already sold over the counter? Hemp derivatives. So this is the battle that's happening in the US. It's become known as the Civil War. The marijuana sector fighting against the hemp sector because they're saying, well, that's too easy. What you're doing is too easy. It's like a liquor store. We had to spend millions and zillions of dollars, and we have to have all the security and cameras in place, and you guys can just produce this and sell it over the counter. That's not fair. And then they're making up things, saying, oh, the hemp is unregulated, the hemp is not safe. No, 17 states have regulated hemp production. So this is a battle that defies logic and reason in the United States, but many political things do.